Hey, who'd you talk to? What's going on? It's only me, Mike Leopard King Michael. This is legit Paranormal 101 brought to you by legit podcast.com. It is still for me. I guess it's still been the same day for everybody else. It is November 9th, 2023, or October 20th, whatever one you want to call it. Joining me on Legit Paranormal 101 is Sarah Parah Normal. Hi, Sarah.
Hey, buddy, what's up?
Long time no see.
Right. And so I would like to say before we get started, for everyone who just watched and is still watching, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Legit Podcast, DOTCOM. Spell it out. It's free.
Yep,
It's free.
it is. It's
Why not?
absolutely free. It's
Helps us out.
I think it's free for one. You can sign up twice, and that's still free. And I think it's free for isn't it 5 or 10 again? For it's free.
As many as you want. Free. Who doesn't love free stuff?
Well, speaking of people who don't like free stuff, Black Island Rick Lysick. How are you, Rick?
What up, guys?
Rick, you like free stuff, don't you?
I fucking love free stuff. Kidding me?
Free stuff. Come on.
I know. What kind of barbarian do you think I am?
No one likes free. So I'm trying to find the book. Your Sarah, why don't you explain the show and explain your book? Why I look for it.
Okay. So the show, Legit Paranormal 101, we came up with this idea because so many people charge ridiculous amounts of money for 101 classes. And really, this is a lot of information that investigators know that we should just all be sharing with new people that want to get in the game, right? Right, Rick? We don't want to be haters. We don't want to hold it like hostage. We want to put it all out there.
Share the information.
Share. It's all about love and sharing. So I actually wrote a handbook. Found it? No. There it is. I wrote this handbook one. What? Go ahead.
I'm sorry. People that don't want to share have low self-confidence. That's something I've learned. Oh God, yeah. They don't want you to see, or they just don't want to pass any information on because they want to keep it to themselves. They want to accomplish something. They don't want to see someone else. Hey, Atkins Sumbers. Let me tell you something about Atkins Sumbers. They keep the hot stuff hot.
And Mike, it also keeps the cold stuff cold.
What else would you want from a tumbler? So you can continue, Sarah. I've got it up on the screen.
Okay, so
Paranormal Investigator.
I actually wrote this, and I took a lot of it from my studies as a parapsychological field investigator with the Rhine. But I wrote this when I started my own investigative team here in Tampa. When I started to bring new people on, I just wanted to give people a brief overview of how an investigation would work, and then just some basic concepts in parapsychology. So this is going to be a little bit different than what some people would say 101, but this is my approach as a parapsychological field investigator to investigating spirits.
In your book, what part is where you give out the nicknames? You know, the cool group nicknames.
No, that's not in the book. I mean, I can add it, but it's already 56 pages long. I was like, I'm just gonna add a few things, and then it was 56 pages long. So
you don't give out nicknames?
No, Mike, that's your job.
Okay.
So you can be the team nicknamer.
Notes for investigators. Kinds of spontaneous cases.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You want me to explain that?
No, yeah, I do, because I'm not going to explain it.
Okay. So when we say kinds of spontaneous cases, that's because in parapsychology, a lot of these things are studied in a lab. So there are people that study. They do psychic experiments that Gansfeld was originally developed to do in the lab. So that's non-spontaneous. They're trying to recreate a certain psychic or event of some sort. So they're doing remote viewing, all sorts of different experiments trying to record the results. So a spontaneous case is anything that is not done in a lab. It is things that happen, anything that happens out in the real world that we can't
Spontaneously?
spontaneously
Without controls.
without controls. Yep. We're in the
Okay.
field.
All right.
Stuff just happens.
Here's the first type. Precognition cases.
Right.
What's that mean?
So, I mean, I don't know if you want me to read it or just explain
You
it.
can read it either way. I just want to know what it means. This is Paranormal 101. You're the teacher. I'm learning. I don't know what that means.
I'm going to read this because it's said better probably by Lloyd Auerbach than me. Cases of seemingly precognition of future events are fairly frequent, though difficult to interpret. Many of them occur in our dreams and only come to appear precognitive in the light of their subsequent fulfillment. Ideally, there should be some record or corroboration of the dream's content produced prior to confirming the event, as well as a careful investigation and record made of confirming the event. The basic and obvious step for anyone involved is a possibly anomalous experience, including dreams, is to keep a reasonably detailed diary.
So this is about dreams or visions of the future.
Yes. Yep.
Rick, you have those?
No, but it's reminding me of that Tom Cruise movie with the precogs.
With the precogs, yeah. Minority Report.
Minority Report.
Yep.
Is
Yeah,
that where he played the really tiny lead hero?
Yeah.
That's him in every movie. Yeah.
Okay. Next would be extrasensory perception cases.
Okay,
Now-
so people will know this as ESP.
Okay.
That's cases in which a person seems to have become spontaneously aware of a scene outside of the range of his or her ordinary senses. So if you just watched our clips show, me using the white noise to channel something that had happened to that woman there in that well, that would have been considered ESP. So that includes someone having picked up the thoughts, emotions, or predicament of a distant person, often someone close, are not uncommon. This could also be a spirit. The precipitant's experience may take various forms: a vague emotional disturbance or feeling of alarm, an impulse to act, hearing hallucinatory voices, or seeing a vision of the scene or event. A fair proportion of cases of apparent spontaneous extrasensory perception take place during dreams as well and present problems of interpretation similar to those raised by precognitive dreams. But I like to think of this more as like, have you guys ever had an experience where you're just
I've
like, oh
gotten
my God, I
high?
need to no, like, like all of a sudden you feel anxious or you don't feel well. Shush, Mike. And you're like, I need to call so-and-so and check on them. And you call them and they're ill or something's happened to them. Like, I feel like a lot of us have had that.
So precog is you're seeing the future. ESP is real time.
Yeah. And you're just sort of, you're picking up something with your own senses. So you're like feeling something either in your body or, you just know something's wrong. Like you get that sense of like, ooh, I feel really anxious and I wonder if so-and-so's okay. You guys have never had this. Don't tell me this because I know you have.
No, of course.
Mike, I know you have. Come on now.
I may have. It's possible.
Okay.
That's a possibility. All right, so that's two. Are these going to both be on the test?
Yeah, they're all on the test.
Christ.
Because,
out of the body experience cases.
Okay, so I mean, this one I feel like a lot of people know what an out of body experience case is. So you're having the experience of leaving your body, and although this sometimes happens when people sleep, where you're either seeing things from above or you're walking around your house, but you're sleeping. But you definitely have that remembrance of walking around your house. Some people can also have experienced this while they're awake, and there have been cases actually of other people seeing that person who's having an out-of-body experience. So if I have an out-of-body experience and I wind up at my mom's house, and my mom looks and she sees me, but I'm not really there. I'm at my house. That's been reported as well. So you're leaving your physical form, but all of your senses are intact. So it would be I don't like to think of it as the soul leaving the body, because that's kind of a religious connotation, but your
What else would
senses.
you call it then? What else would you call
Your
it?
senses are leaving your body.
Your soul.
Your sense of okay. Well, you can call it that, but if some people don't believe in that, I just want to.
But what else would you call it then? Your energy?
Yeah, your energy. You could call
Your
it that.
essence.
Those are
Your
just
essence.
synonyms.
I like that word.
Those are just synonyms for soul, so people don't feel like it's all religious. But anyways,
So
is this a dream mostly in?
Most of these last three things are, happening primarily in dreams. So again, that's why they say you have to keep a very detailed diary if you feel like you're experiencing these things, because if you wanted to report it to a place like the Rhine, which you can become a subject there. So you can say, I'm having out-of-body experiences, or I'm having precognitions, and I want to be a subject in your testing groups. Oof. They would have to confirm these things. So you would have had to write them down with dates in your own handwriting, and then sort of had some sort of tangible evidence to back yourself up.
This is a tough one to back yourself up with. And
I know.
This is also a near-death experience type phenomenon. Apparition cases.
Okay. This is long and just complicated. So I'm just going to say, in parapsychology, and Sin and I kind of went over this in detail the other week, so I'll just kind of give the overview. An apparition case is an intelligent spirit. So an apparition is not a residual. It's not the recording of something. It's someone's consciousness that you are interacting with. Just because it says apparition doesn't mean you necessarily have to see it. It can be talking to you, but it is interacting with you. So it's giving you information, you're giving information back, and it's responding. It's a two-way communication with a spirit.
Rick, any questions so far?
I'm the one before the out-of-body experience.
Yeah.
Now, I'm just wondering, when people see, you said that there's been cases that people have actually seen the person.
Yeah.
That's messing with me a little bit. That's breaking like Back to the Future rules,
Yeah.
It's a little
odd. Is. And that's actually happened in a lab. So that's actually happened while it's been studied in a lab, where someone who was very talented at like astral projection and a lot of those things, remote viewing, had an out-of-body experience, and the people observing him, both his physical self, but then he also appeared in the control room as well.
That's crazy.
This all sounds like people high.
These are people with PhDs and stuff that are doing that. Is it possible they were high? I guess.
You can't rule it out.
You can't. No, I can't. I wasn't there.
Can I ask the question why you made up the word veridical?
Dude,
what does it mean?
I haven't been able to pee in.
What does veridical mean?
Vertical? Where did I say?
Veridical.
Where did I say that?
You said, however, some of these hallucinations may be called, and you put with one quote and then two on the end, so you did them differently. Veridical. That's probably a real word. I just never. I would love to know what veridical. VERIDICAL. Put in one quotation mark and then the double quotation marks at the end. Veridical.
Well, I cited this as I had taken these passages from the Handbook of Parapsychology.
Is that a real word? Veridical.
Okay, we're going to find out right now.
Is veridical.
On the verge of being ridiculous. Veridical.
That makes sense in that context, does it not?
However, so it's on the verge of being ridiculous. So it's
Mike, stop being veridical.
veridical.
Mike, you're really edging on veridical.
You know what?
He's
Wait,
so
if you're on the
veridical.
edge of being, if that's the edge of being ridiculous, my life is veridical. Like that word should be used. Like every time I'm stuck in traffic, every time I'm anywhere from now on, it's veridical.
We got a new word.
It's everything's on the verge with me of ridiculousness. It doesn't go any other way. So I'm gonna use that new word. Thanks, Rick.
I know what T-shirt I'm making this week.
Veridical.
This shit's veridical.
They'll be like, "What does that mean? Is that a real word?" Okay. Poltergeist cases and any other paranormal physical events.
Okay.
Now, what does that mean? Because my eyes immediately go to usually small items like stones or crockery.
They're talking about objects moving or flying through a room, which is what you would typically associate with a poltergeist case.
I know you can't say pots and pans. It's crockery. I just love the words. I love big words for no reason sometimes. Like I just
because a lot of these things were actually defined in England, which is where the Society for Psychical Research started. It was in London. So I feel like we do get a lot of British words in here, and then they say crockery. So we've got crockery, that type of thing. But
Yep. This sounds English. Thumps, raps, scratching, scuffling, noise, footsteps. Yeah. English.
So poltergeist, which is a German word, actually sort of means in a roundabout way noisy ghost. Oh, is he laughing at thumping?
No. No, I'm just I'm in my head. I'm picturing a very stuffy British voice right now reading this, and it's so much more fun if this was a stuffy British voice. But go ahead, continue. I'm sorry. This poltergeist cases where they're noisy spirits. Is that what they are?
Yes. So
hello.
Gonna put the crockery in the boot.
Put the crockery. All right, let's go.
Oh look, it's two Dick Van Dykes. Am I Mary Poppins? Is that what's happening?
Oh,
it was awful, both of you.
Was Dick Van Dyke in Mary Poppins?
He was.
Yeah, he's a chimney
He was
sweep.
the chimney sweep.
Oh, I never seen it, but I know he was in Eight Is Enough.
You never seen Mary Poppins? What the hell is wrong with you?
I'm sitting there.
Dickle.
It's veridical. I'm sitting there with my two brothers, right? And we're gonna watch Mary Poppins. It ain't happening.
Yeah.
I made my sons watch Mary Poppins. I made them.
My name's BJ McLean, and this is my best friend Bear. You guys remember that one about the guy who drove around on a Mack truck with a monkey as his sidekick?
I was probably a baby.
That's my point. See, I don't watch Mary Poppins. I'm watching a guy with a monkey that's nicknamed Bear. So the appearance of mysterious luminous patches, cold breezes, inundations of water of which the source cannot be traced, and unexpected, and this is the fancy odors. This is the one where you put the U in it. Odors, which may be sometimes unpleasant.
Yes.
Right?
These are physical things, right? These are things that are actually physically present. So someone who is not a medium is experiencing them with their senses. Poltergeist are not considered in these cases to actually be a spirit. A poltergeist is usually, it can be. It's just very rare. A poltergeist is usually a human agent, a living agent, which is causing things to move, which is causing the thumps and raps, which is causing things to materialize. It can even cause an apparition to materialize, like a visual of another person. So most times it's teenagers. Go ahead.
I know it should be the disturbance of bedcloths, because I guess that's their fancy way of saying sheets or comforters. But I almost thought it said the disturbance of bedclothes, because I have bedclothes, but I call those pajamas. So That means sheets, right?
Yes.
Sarah, say what you were about to say. Usually, it's a teen.
Yeah, usually poltergeists are you get them when there's a teen in the home and there's disturbances in the home, such as some type of domestic violence, or there's a lot of emotional distress and their emotions are very unregulated. So a poltergeist can manifest, it's their psychic abilities that they're actually their psychokinesis actually moving the things, causing the noises, doing those things because their mind can't comprehend the emotions and the thoughts that they're having, and it actually
So-
creates a physical manifestation.
So if you see a poltergeist, kick any teens out of the house, right? Clear them out. They're the ones causing it, correct?
Yeah, I mean, if you go back to famous cases like the Enfield haunting, I don't know, Rick, you probably know what the Enfield haunting
Yeah.
is. I don't know if Mike will. That happened in England, that the Warrens actually investigated. That was a preteen girl, although they claim to be spirits in the house. And, there can be spirits in the house because if you have someone going through a high level emotional mental disturbance and then the house is also haunted, you can imagine, well, that's just icing on the cake. They're going to maybe manifest those things physically. And I've seen cases where I've gone in thinking there was poltergeist activity, and it was very much so a living person that had been manifesting. It had unrealized, psychokinesis PK that they were using to move things, break light bulbs, that type of thing. So, does that make sense?
Yeah,
Pretty awesome.
yeah. Other than it being teens,
Most often it would be a teen because they can have big emotions and big thoughts and big feelings like a preteen about to go through puberty.
They could be stupid.
And they can't, they can be that too. And they don't know how to handle them or reconcile these things in their mind. So, I mean, this would be the same theory of why maybe a personality might split. Like our minds have mechanisms to protect us, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if a personality can split or someone can lose all their memory because of a trauma, why couldn't those same energies and emotions create movement of physical objects if that is projected outward instead of inward?
Because it's still force. That's the only thing I would say. There's still going to be there's a difference in force when it comes to the actual movement of something. Now, as far as that whole thing snapping, yeah, I don't have any fun dreams anymore because of the Elephant Man. So I'm with that. I stopped myself from dreaming. Well, I stopped myself from believing that I was dreaming when I was like 15, and ever since then, every time I dream, I know that it's a dream, like I'm in a movie. So even the good ones I ruin, and that's a self mechanism.
So Spielberg got it wrong too with Poltergeist, the movie.
Yes.
There was a teen there, the kid.
But it was a haunting.
It was a spirit, yeah. But Mike, can I ask you a question then?
Go ahead.
So you said there had to be some type of force. So do you believe a spirit who has no body can summon enough force to move an object, but a living person can't summon that same amount of energy?
Yeah.
What's the difference?
You have the other thing is made of energy, so it's working with energy and using energy, and it's mostly intentional. Whereas this is a teenage kid who, I mean, God only knows what they're thinking about, and their emotions are making bedcloths fly around the room. So I have a harder time believing that someone alive can that sounds stupid, but it's just true. I believe I would believe that something of a energy form spirit moves something, dealing in energy, as opposed to some teenage kid getting upset and making the pans and pots fly all around the room.
But if we have if we die and we become that energy is actually with us while we are alive. That's just the part that moves on. And we don't know what that, we call it energy. We don't know what it is, that a spirit is.
So
But if we have that same energy while we're alive, and then our physical bodies die, our corporeal forms die, and then that other energy stays on.
it's like a backup. It's like a backup electric supply, like the generator.
Right.
So when we
To
click off
me,
physical, then that turns on.
right, but I feel like it's all it's all in us all the time, and that's why things like witchcraft or psychokinesis and things like that work. We have all this unharnessed energy that I think that we're distracted by the living world and by our own physical forms. Like, we're not tapping into it. It's there. It's just unrealized because while we're alive, we're so worried about paying our bills or finding a boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever we get distracted by, like all those shiny, pretty things out there. We're not paying attention to all that power that's in us all the time.
I guess I'm stuck on the teenagers, if I'm being honest. Like,
It's
some of this
just
makes
because they're
sense.
so unregulated, I think. And they're because their energy is there, but their mind hasn't, like, think about being 13, 14. Your mind is not fully developed. Like, you just, whatever, you don't know what is going on. You just want to eat food, have fun, find someone to like fool
Study,
around with.
say my prayers, go to sleep early,
Okay, well, we had different teenage lives.
and do right by my parents every
I
single
don't
day.
know.
That's all
Rick,
I do.
So
you wanna weigh in on this, Rick?
yeah, I have questions. Um, so like when you look at like a monk who meditates, 7 hours a day, they've done studies, brain changes, chemically changes. Um, has there ever been anyone to do telekinesis that's proven?
No, the Ben Spoon stuff I don't buy. I don't think I've
The
ever
No,
Ben
seen.
that's
Spoon stuff, but the monks are interesting because there have been studies of a monk sitting in like snow and soaking wet and being able to use his
his
own
body to
harnessed
heat,
energy to like evaporate it all and keep himself warm.
but that's inside the body.
That's
You see
using
them,
his mind to raise his body. So he's
yep,
he's affecting something physical with
in
his
his body.
mind
Yeah, but
in his body.
in his body.
Yeah,
I was just I was just wondering if there's ever been a proven case of, because the reason I am even bringing it up is because when you first said, the teen thing, it reminded me of the movie Carrie, like when she got mad and everything starts slamming, which would fit the definition of a poltergeist.
right.
Um,
Proven, no, they've come very close to proving cases of proportion, which is like reparation. I don't remember how to say the word right now because I wasn't planning on talking about this. But some people that can make an object appear from great distances. So, like a pencil or something that's back at their house, and it'll just appear wherever they are at the
Now,
diner.
the closest thing I can think of to actually doing that is they have new technologies now that, for people who are 100% unable to move, paralyzed,
Mm-hmm.
where the brain waves can manipulate a computer for them to be able to type out. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Um,
Yeah.
Other than that, I can't think of anything that is proven for that kind of thing.
No,
Like,
because
why
there's
you
never been anything proven. This is another one of those
no,
things. This is another one of those. No, I don't think it's ever been proven. Really, I
just
mean,
like,
people will swear to it. They'll swear they've seen it. They got video of
yeah,
it, but I don't think anyone's ever been like, stamp, that's real. You know what I mean?
yeah. And they do study this in the labs and they record data because that's what we're trying to do with these type of events. These are the type of events that can actually be studied. because we're dealing with these all are things that we've talked about already, that we're dealing with living people. So we don't have to count on a spirit showing up or an apparition, but out of body experiences, ESP, precognition, poltergeist, those things are all being studied in the labs by parapsychologists.
I want to go to these labs.
Yeah, me
I
too.
want to go to these
The Rhine
labs.
Institute is in San Francisco. I would love to go there. I would.
No, I would just want to look around the labs. I just want to see what's in these labs, like beakers, like, you know.
Do they do
No,
interviews?
it's not like that. So can I just say something? So parapsychology, when it bothers me when people say using paranormal science, we're not talking about science like earth science or biology or chemistry. It's a social science. It's a study of people.
Yeah, but no. But isn't that what the Rhine Institute is doing? They have controls in place, and they're trying to scientifically study.
Yeah, but it's like psychology, which is an applied science. It's not a science. Like, it's not science like people think of, where we're using tech to detect things. It's like psychology, and like anything they've come up with in psychology or the mind is just been by making observations over long periods of time. We're not trying to come up with technology that proves any of this. It's observation, repeat experiment, observation, repeat experiment, observation over long periods of time. There's some tech used, obviously, like EMF meters, but really, parapsychology is an applied science, not a physical science.
So who was that guy? Was he Mr. Science? What was his name? Mr.
Bill Nye, the science guy?
No, not him. The other guy on Nickelodeon.
No, not him. You got so mad.
The other guy, Rick. You know the guy with the white hair on Nickelodeon. You'd come into his like room, and you'd have like all these scientific beakers and all these like pipes.
Yes, you go to his room and play with his beaker, Mike. Do you need to talk to someone about that?
No.
Mike, went twice if you need help.
I would keep that to myself. Yeah, anything but his beakers would be on the down low. No, it was. I'm gonna think of it. There was only one other guy other than Bill Nye, the science guy. It was this older guy that used to do fucking science. It was like professor or doctor or God,
Professor Beaker guy. Can we just go with Professor Beaker guy?
He looked like Mr. Drummond from Different Strokes.
Is there a cat?
But you carry on with this conducting investigations, the study of relevant literature, while I look up who the frig this guy was. Wiz something?
All right, Sarah, let's get back to this while he's looking up.
Yeah, you ask more questions, Rick.
Captain Kangaroo. All right, so my next question is why aren't people studying this on a real science level?
The reason is because we don't actually know what type of matter we're dealing with. So right now it would be impossible to study. We don't know what a ghost is made of. It's not proven. We haven't proven the existence of any of this. Anything paranormal, we've not proven the existence of. So we wouldn't, in science, you have to have measurable quantitative things, and we don't know what we're measuring. So,
Mr. Wizard's World.
Okay, great. I'm glad you know that now.
You don't remember Mr. Wizard? For real? No one remembers Mr. Wizard. I'm the only guy.
I don't.
And he looks like Mr. Drummond right here he looks just like Mr. Drummond. God damn me. All right. Mr. Wizard. Really? No one knows Mr. Wizard?
Can you give me a screenshot?
We're all under the age of 65, Mike.
That hurt.
That
hurt because I'm only 64, and you didn't have to round it up to 65 just to be.
Why would you give him that extra year?
Why would you do that? Well, why add an extra year? Why would you add an extra year on? That's just.
It's all, Sarah, you have a way of really taking it to that next level unnecessarily.
I don't even know if I want to go on. I'm a little. Let's go on.
This whole thing is ridiculous.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
Vertical.
It's veridical.
Vertical. No, it's veridical. Veridical, because it's not vertical. That's a different word. It's veridical.
Yeah.
veridical, because ridiculous has to be in there. Veridical.
But if you're ridiculous while standing up, are you vertically veridical?
Oh, Jesus Christ. I knew that joke was going to happen eventually. God, that was low-hanging fruit. Study of relevant literature.
Read books. I don't know what you want. That's what that means. Read books.
So you're just telling. So this is just telling people, hey, by the way, read some books.
Yeah, basically. I mean, you have. Okay, so what it's telling people is, don't be a douche and just go out there and make something up. Pay attention to what people have already done, because the history of paranormal investigation is important, and understanding what has come before you. So read about it. Understand the concepts you're talking about.
I'm on page 4. What page are you on, sir?
I'm on page 4, study of relevant literature. And there is a link for the website.
Where's douche?
Yeah, don't be a douche. Subheading.
It's it's cited at the bottom of the page. Don't be a douche.
I haven't gotten to that yet.
Right.
Essential procedures.
All right. It's hard to say, it's obvious, but yeah, different types of cases will require different additional procedures. For instance, crisis apparitions might require confirmation of a reported death from a newspaper, notice of public records, significant dreams detailed, etc., etc. So they're saying, do
figure
your
out what
research.
You're dealing with. Yeah, figure out what you're dealing with and back it up with something.
With some facts. So you have to do your research. So you have to read about the things that came before you. You have to understand the concepts, but you also need to understand the history, like Rick does so well at when we investigate, like understanding the history of the location, the deaths, especially in a crisis apparition case, because now we're dealing, we assume, with a person who has died and is trying to communicate with us. So we should do our best to figure out who that person is, how they died, what they could possibly need.
This is definitely first of all, if you're watching the video, please like and subscribe. Legitpodcast.com, DOTCOM on social media, spell it out. This definitely starting to feel like class, because my head's feeling like a baby's. Like there's so many big words that it's starting to, like, I'm starting to lose control of my head. It's starting to fall to the side. Like there's a lot of big words. I mean, I don't mean to sound stupid, but I do. Veridical. I mean, I learned the word tonight. I didn't even think it existed. I didn't even exist it. So this is basically telling these people, look, pay attention, read a book. Every event's going to be different. If it's obviously a poltergeist, then let's go to the poltergeist handbook. If it's going to be this one, let's look up this stuff. If it's the house, let's look up their what they sold for on Zillow. You know what I mean? Is it a electric stove? Is it gas? I mean, you don't need to know this stuff.
You're not too far off there with the Zillow thing. Not what they sold it for, but I've often looked at Zillow to see how many times it's been sold and how fast, because that'll tell you something. Like, do people move every year, every 2 years from this place? There's something funky going on. Something.
Rick, if you're going to buy a house and you're like, how long did the past owner live here? And they were like, well, 6 months. And there was a guy before him for about a year, and a guy before him for a year and a half, and a lady before him for about a year. Would you go
introduce yourself to the neighbors?
Yeah.
I would get that Money Pit vibe, and I get out of there. Because that Money Pit movie is one of my favorite movies of all time, not just because of Tom Hanks, but because of the fact that it's perfect for anybody that's ever owned a home. Sarah, really quickly, on the 12th, this Sunday, locally in my area for the Providence, I'm not even the Providence Animal Shelter. Jesus Louise, they're doing a $20 for 25 raffle tickets. There's 44-foot Christmas trees adorned with gift cards.
Sorry.
I still, dude, in my head, I picture you getting knocked back 20 feet every time you pour water. Like how
the old Atkins was empty.
How strong is your faucet? Like, I don't remember it being there was not a fire hose in your kitchen last time I was there.
It's pretty strong.
That was
gotta be. fill up this Atkins
Yeah.
tumbler.
By the way, is that an Atkins tumbler you got right there?
It is. It's beautiful,
You know,
isn't it?
you know what's great about Atkins tumblers? They keep
What's
the
that,
hot
Mike?
stuff hot.
Mike, keeps the cold stuff cold.
Sarah, you should say the last line.
Atkins
What?
tumblers.
No, what else do you need?
Two?
What else do you need from a tumbler? That's all you have to say from now on. You just be like, what else do you need from a tumbler? And then boom, we're out.
Oh,
Please, please.
Oh my
Did
God.
you not read the lines I sent you?
No,
all right.
I didn't get any notes from you.
That's because I don't send notes. I don't.
That's bullshit.
Conducting, well, notes that are like, you know,
Helpful?
productive. Yeah, productive.
Yeah. Okay.
If they're
That I
gonna
agree with.
aggravate somebody, then yeah, they might get those notes. Establishing a framework upon conducting an interview. Now, before we get into interviews, let's go over what we just talked about. Because
Okay.
conducting an interview is speaking with somebody completely different than anything we just talked about. Like that's
Right.
a whole ball of wax of who you're about to talk to, the interview, how you're going to conduct it, your bedside manner, all that stuff. Man, that's going to come into play like nobody's business. Let's do what I call a recap, which would be like the last page of a chapter where they give you like 10 questions to see how much you really didn't read about that chapter. Yeah. So let's start with precognition cases. Now, Rick, without looking at the pages, what do you remember about what she said about precognition cases?
seeing the future.
Okay, seeing in the future. Okay. Sarah, would that be good enough on the test?
Yes, I would accept seeing the future.
Wow, you're easy then, right? You wouldn't want like many occurring dreams and blah, 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 blah,
Oh,
blah.
is it a multiple choice or an essay question?
I just always assume it's an essay. But
Okay, well, if it's an essay, yeah, then Rick, you have to you're gonna only get half points for that one.
Where's the wheel? I don't see anyone with the wheel giving out points
There's
tonight.
no wheel.
This is where's the wheel? Why am I getting graded?
Well, you won the wheel, so now
I did win the wheel. I did.
super harshly. Yeah, that's biased because Mike just likes you better than me.
he just answered correctly. Rick,
On the scale
extrasensory
of luxury.
perception cases. Extrasensory perception cases, Rick. What do you get there?
They are real-time, remote feelings, sightings. Yeah, thoughts that you're having. You think little Johnny fell down the well. You call up the neighbor. Go check on little Johnny. Make sure he's not in the
Or
well.
Lassie.
So
Or
you're saying
Lassie.
all your senses are a little bit extra through your perception.
Yes.
So like a textbook definition.
Yeah,
It's
that's how I would
perfect.
answer. That's how I always used to answer questions when teachers would ask them. Because
With the name of the question, with
you
the
just kinda answer
question
back-
and
yeah,
the
you just-
answer.
yeah, because it makes them feel smart. Out
God.
of the body, which by the way, did we need the? If I'm gonna be nitpicky here, wouldn't out of body experiences been good enough? But then it's out of the body experience cases. No, nobody, none.
It's
neither
just
one?
correct. It's just correct English.
Oh well,
Out
screw
of
that
the
then.
body.
What's the point of that?
It does have the wheel tonight. It looks like.
Well, she wrote this thing. I mean, out of the body experience cases. Rick, I know you're gonna say that something happens out of the body. You can start with that. But out of the body experience cases, Rick, what do you got? What are they?
Did we go over this?
No. We did perceptions, the sensatory, super mega omega cases. This is
No,
out
but
of-
did we even talk about out of body experiences?
We
Yes, we
did.
We did. We said dreams. Remember, dreams and near death experiences.
Oh yeah. Oh,
You asked a question.
I did ask the question. All right, now I know what we're talking about. It's when you have an experience not within your body.
Wow.
That could be dreaming. That could be controlled experiments where you and your other energy self show up to the party,
Oh.
which is freaking me out. Minority
Yep.
Report. No, it's precog.
That's precog, yeah.
Yeah.
minus two points for Rick. But otherwise, very good.
Okay.
Like-
There's a Tom Cruise movie for out of body experiences. Is there?
Yeah, there is.
Vanilla
There's-
Sky?
he
Vanilla
plays
Sky?
he plays this little hero in it.
Action guy.
Do you have a problem with Tom Cruise
And
being
he
short?
runs.
See him?
In every one of his
He just
movies.
went by.
You ever notice he's always running?
Like this.
You ever notice everybody's short? No, the best runner, the best movie runner of all time is Steven Seagal.
No, Terminator 2. The bad guy.
Steven Seagal runs like this whenever he runs in a movie. He can't stop his hands from doing this, dude. No tough
So
guy
does
runs the
Tom
streets like
Cruise.
this.
Have you not seen Mission Impossible?
Actually, no, this is it. Steven Seagal does circle. You think I'm joking? If you think I'm joking, please look up. Just type into YouTube Steven Seagal running. He's like, anybody see Richie? It's just not tough. Rick,
Is this test about running?
no, Tom Cruise, Steven Seagal run funny. Apparition cases. What do you got, Rick?
Why doesn't Mike have to answer any of these questions?
Because that way Mike doesn't have to. Rick, what do you got for
Rick.
apparition cases?
Throw it back to him.
You don't know, Rick?
That was Tom Cruise running.
You'd be like, an apparition, Rick. It's a ghost. Think about it. Apparition cases.
Yeah, it's a ghost.
All right, close. But you're not dreaming, ill or mentally unwell, or under the influence of drugs, which that's debatable. What is it, though, Rick? You get nothing else? You didn't listen. You zoned her out at the end? Did you zone her
No,
out?
I listened. Tell me.
All right,
Mike?
Sarah, go ahead, Tara.
No,
Sarah.
I think that you should tell him, Mike.
Oh, this is easy. It's a case which a person is not dreaming ill, mentally unwell, or under the influence of drugs. He has a voice that no one spoke. It's highly unlikely, that he's hallucinating. Sometimes though these hallucinations get a little veridical.
Very good.
That's how
Except
I would end on veridical. Just that's
No,
it. Big word. Bang. I'm done.
You
Veridical.
you missed a really important part of apparition cases, which is that it is a conscious, intelligent spirit. So you would have failed a parapsychology test.
Where does it say
So
that?
a classic haunting.
Well, actually, a haunting is we haven't gotten to that yet. Is considered residual. So that's where you have to the terms in this become important because an apparition is a conscious, intelligent spirit that interacts with you, and a haunting is going to be the recording, the memory.
Where does it say
Memorex.
that, in the notes?
It says.
Does it say intelligent? Nope. Doesn't say what you just said at all on the apparition.
Okay,
So what do you
but
call a case where there's an intelligent spirit in a house? It's not a haunting?
No. It's an apparition.
My house is apparitioned?
Apparition? No, really. What? Wait a minute. Stop. So that's not in this. You're expecting an answer on the test that's not actually in the textbook.
Okay, well, maybe the professor just talked about this in class. Did you not take notes?
Oh, you're one of those. Half on the book, half what you say. I get
all willy-nilly, just taking points away.
And right in the book. Jeez, that's the teachers I don't like. All right, but let's try this way. So when your house is haunted, then, Sarah, what would you call what's haunting your house? I know you don't want to use the word demon, so what would you call it?
Well, if you have a if you have a haunting, it's going to be those spirits that are just not interacting with you at all. They're just running around doing the same route over and over. A lot like, the battlefields of Gettysburg where people see the soldiers and they're doing their soldier stuff still. They're not coming up to you and being like, hey, Mike, feeling veridical today? They're just doing their routine over and over and over again.
I would look at the ghost and be, yes, very vertical, almost on the verge of clown shoes. So now Rick has a ghost in his house, mouse in the house, and it's making noise. It's telling Rick he's a rotten person. It hates the Beatles song, Filling a Hole. It just hates it. What's that to Rick? That's not a haunting?
No, Rick has an apparition. He's experiencing paranormal activity. He is having an anomalous event.
Did you know that, Rick? That you weren't getting haunted? You were just having an anomalous event?
I
I actually do a cover of that song. I wish I was joking. Poltergeist cases and other paranormal physical events. Rick, did you know what a poltergeist event is, or what it
I,
means?
I did. Angry teens setting off the smoke alarm with their energy. You know, I live in a house full of women in the summertime. We have poltergeists everywhere.
No, that's just periods syncing up.
They're sniffing each other's armpits. I know.
What the fuck?
I know. Once they start sniffing each other's armpits, Mike, poltergeists everywhere.
Yeah.
What? What? Wait a minute. What? Wait. Stop. No, stop. Who sniffed? Never mind. Never. You know, I don't want to know. I don't even want to know this stuff. This is
They
like
don't even do it on purpose. It just happens.
Wow.
It's not the only thing we're sniffing.
Sniffing armpits.
What?
Is I'm gonna ignore.
What are the other things you're sniffing?
No, I'm with you because I could tell it's getting late. Guys. So let me ask you this then. Knowing all these different types of apparitions, ghosts, spirits, poltergeists, other names. Knowing these helps the paranormal investigator how?
So again, this is I want to reiterate that this comes from my study of parapsychology. So you would, consider yourself a parapsychological field investigator or investigator. And it helps you once you identify what's happening, then you can resolve the issue, like any problem in life. Like you can't start a resolution unless you know what's occurring.
It's a classification.
Yeah, you have to know what it is, A, so you can study it, and B, so if it's a spontaneous case, it's happening in someone's home, you're hoping you're going to help them, right? So you need to know what's happening. Like, I'm not going to treat a haunting the same way I'm going to treat an apparition or a poltergeist.
Is there any way to treat a haunting?
Yeah, actually, there's been a lot of work done with magnets, which seems to help relieve that. Rare earth magnets can be stuck around the home, and just not around children or pets, because if swallowed, they're very, 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 very dangerous. And also degrousers. So if a haunting or a residual is like a recording, there's been some work done with using methods that would be the same thing that would use to erase a tape to help with those situations. A lot of it is placebo effect. Often if you give a person a sense of control over the situation, they stop paying attention to it so much and it kind of just goes away. So whether the magnets and the degrousers and all that really work, or it's the actual homeowner just regaining some control of their life and possibly blocking it out or becoming desensitized to it, we're not really sure, but either way, it works.
I wanted to bring this comment up really quick. You believe what you want to believe. It's your universe. That would be very egotistical of me to believe that it's my universe. I wish, my God, I would change a lot of things, but is this his way of saying it's all kind of the same? Just no matter what you believe, it's like, what does that mean? Believe what you want to believe. It's your universe.
I think he's kind of saying like, the study of parapsychology is sort of, it verges on almost the skeptical side in the paranormal community. So it's not widely accepted. I tend to be drawn to it because I've always been drawn to the study of psychology. And I just tend to believe that the mind is so much more powerful than we think it is. And that's not saying that that's not paranormal. If it's being caused by a living person, it's still crazy, right? It's still crazy if a person is causing, a living person is causing objects to move. That's still nuts. It doesn't make it less exciting to me if it's a living or a dead person. That's crazy. But it's more about the study of the human mind.
Oh,
I'm
quantum
not
physics.
understanding. I'm not understanding.
No, I am. Why? You welcome us into yours every week. He's right.
Well, why to what?
Why would you not believe you had your own universe?
Oh, yeah.
Basically saying like legit podcast is like our own universe. It's what we're thinking.
I like that. We
speaking
should.
every week.
Hey,
Although,
Jonathan, can we take that?
Jonathan, the only thing wrong with quantum physics is that I immediately think of Quantum Leap. And what was
Oh, that was such a good show. Scott
remaking
Bakula.
it. Yeah, they're remaking
No,
No,
it's not good. It's not good. The new. Well, I mean, I just can't because like it was Scott. Who's the guy with the cigar? Who was? Thanks, Jonathan. Who was the guy with the cigar that was his like little sidekick there?
Oh,
Tom
Quantum
Cruise.
Leap.
Little sidekick,
No,
Tom
it
Cruise.
wasn't Tom Cruise. You've watched Quantum Leap, right?
Prince.
There he goes again.
The Quantum would leap.
The guy who sings
Sam.
no,
Yes.
not Sam.
It
No.
was.
Who's that
I
guy
think
who
it
sings Uptown
was.
Funk? Uptown Funk.
That's Bruno Mars.
Yeah. Speaking of little guys, so Bruno Mars was like a big deal at one point, and then I don't know if you noticed, he ruined his career by standing next to Taylor Swift. Does anybody remember that? Am I the only one?
No.
Please, oh please.
No,
I'm
what
sitting
happened with
there.
Taylor Swift?
So he's at an award show, right? And he comes out and he does that performance where he's dancing and the band's dancing and they're doing that Morris Day in the time type thing, and it's really dope. And my wife's like, "Oh, he's great, he's hot, he's this, he's that." Wait, so all this stuff, and then Ari comes on stage with Taylor Swift to present an award, and she starts going, "Oh no, no," and I'm like, "What's the matter?" She's like, "He's so talented." I'm like, "He's still talented now. What's your problem? Is the fact that his head is below her shoulder? Is that what it is?" That ruined it for her, and I know this, but she wouldn't admit it. He ruined his career when he stood next to Taylor Swift. And then there was a guy the year before who did the stave dive and like dropped the leg on that girl's face. You remember that other? It was another Spanish performer that like he was singing, got all excited, went to jump the crowd, but didn't quite. You didn't see this? He didn't plan it right, and his leg.
Ricky Martin?
No, that's Levin Levine Polka. This guy dropped a leg like Hulk Hogan. I'll
like Drew Bledsoe.
Oh my God! It was one of the most brutal.
Enrique Iglesias.
I'm gonna send you guys the clips of it because I remember watching it live. I don't know why I was watching in one of these programs, but thank God I was because he literally
sounds like because your wife was making you watch it.
He jumps over the crowd, thinks he's gonna land on the next stage, and some girl's got her head like this, and his leg just takes it and smashes it on the stage, and she goes bouncing back in the crowd. And he hugs some other girl that he barely touched. Meanwhile, this other girl's got like a busted face. I'll send you the film. We can review it and see if it's paranormal. What would you like to say to wrap up, Rick, for the second time?
Great night. I love this. Fucking this. I'd love to have Jonathan back on the clip show again because I found his stuff
Jonathan.
so awesome. Yeah, that's it. Hey. I'm going to take a sip of my tumbler and have a good night.
Are you
Peace,
jealous
everybody.
of Jonathan's last name? Keyworth. That's I would listen to that last name. If you came up to me like Dr. Keyworth, I'm like, oh. What do you got to say?
Dr. Jonathan Keyworth.
Yeah, right? That's a great name. Sarah, what would you like to say to wrap it
up? If you haven't liked and subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, please do so. We've got a huge relaunch coming 1/1/2024. So there's going to be a lot of stuff going on leading up to that. You've got to make sure you follow us at Legit Podcast, DOTCOM. Spell it out. Big news today. We are officially going to be at the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash on July 26th through 28th, 2024. So I'm just excited about that. I'm just excited about that in general.
What I'm excited about is December 31st, it will be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
And then January 1st would be 1 + 1 is 2, + 2 is 4. 1, 1, 2, 4. Those two numbers are too perfect for me not to geek out about already. Like I'm already excited about those 2 days because those numbers and I'm not going to even get to say those names, those dates on the air. Like I know that I'm going to have to go on the air by myself. I keep saying this. I want to count down the ball by myself. Just show up Be like, hey, the ball's about to drop. And then that way I just at least, for the love of God, get to say, today is 1, 2, 3. Please give me that privilege. I want it. I'm a geek. All right. Let's see. Thank you to Atkins Tumblers, to highhorrors.net. Thank you to everybody in the Legit Podcast family for helping out. We do have bigger things to come. There's no shows tomorrow or Saturday, so you can either hang around in your pajamas or go out of the house. We don't really care. Do what you got to do.